Hello my YouTube friends, how are you all doing? I hope you all are doing great. So as I promised in my previous session that I'll be bringing very interesting topic in next week, I am back with one more interesting topic, that is how you can initialize your queue item as well as how you can add a value to it. Now here is the catch. I simply don't add a value to it. I'll be creating the queue item here in the UiPath Studio. Also, I'll be creating the field for that queue item and then I'll be assigning the value. Now at the end, I will also explain on how you can update your queue item. So stay till the end so you can get more and more learning from this. Okay. Now let's not keep you all waiting. Let's jump into our coding. So to get started with, the only thing we need is the assign activity. With this assign activity, we can perform all the steps that I have mentioned. Okay, so I have dragged and dropped the assign activity, and how do I get this assign activity is in your activity panel, type assign. Okay, you will see this under default activity or workflow, control and assign. Drag and drop them, you will see the value. Now what you need to do is that since we deal with the queue item, right, we need to create the variable. So let's do that. Transaction item, and the value of this would be queue item. Now how did I get this is that, let's do that. Let's search for the queue item and get the value that we need, right? Under UiPath queue item, under UiPath.co, you see a queue item. Select that, click on OK. Okay, and in here you see the queue item, right? Now our first step is to assign, or initialize. So whenever you perform anything in your UiPath or any coding language, try to add the comments, annotations, or in our scenario, try to add the or rename your activity. So this has been recommended by UiPath that whenever you code something, it is always better to address that particular activity on what it does. For that you have three things. One is init. One is your activity replacing your activity name. Another would be your naming the annotation. Shift F2 if you perform, you see one panel that gets open. You need to pin it so you can write it. So let's say init of transaction item, and the last one which helps for adding the notes or adding the remark is the comment, where you can write your own comment. For example, let's say I want to write information like init transaction item and write assign value. So with this, what is going to happen, or why this has been recommended, is that whenever someone goes through your code, it can be for audit reason, or if you have moved out from your organization, someone comes to replace you, they can able to understand without the need they have to open their documentation and match what you have written. So it's always been recommended, and it's a good practice to maintain these things wherein you add the remark or in the remark in the annotations, write a comment and add a message or rename your activity in a way that people can understand correctly. Okay, now let's move on to our topic. So we got diverted. Now let's move on to our back to topic. So what we were at, assigning our transaction or initializing our transaction item, right, the queue item. So to assign or to initialize our queue item, you need to do the step new QueueItem open bracket close bracket. Now why the initialization is needed? In any coding language, initialization of certain variable is must. With that, you will be able to tackle a situation of null reference or object the value is empty, null reference value or object doesn't exist. Those kind of issues which you see, that can be avoided using initialization part. Now moving for assigning the value to a transaction field or creating the field and then assigning the field. First we need to have our transaction item and specific content. The reason that I have added specific content is because since we are dealing at field level, it is through QueueItem, it is always we identify each field through specific content. Okay. Now in the value part, it is said that set the value in a format of dictionary. It can be of any type with string or string object. So let's do that. So let's declare or create the dictionary, and then let me say my field name would be of type string, and the value, let's say we can give it as an object, right? Let's open and close bracket. Okay. Now what I did here, I have created the type of my field and its respective value. Now I need to pass the value, right? So to do this, I have opened the flower bracket. I'll be passing name, and then I'll be passing the value. Let's say let's automate. Now there is an error. So what is the error? If you just highlight the error, it says you cannot convert string to dictionary of type. So what we need to do is that we need to add one command called from. So what I'm trying to say to this particular statement is that, what I'm trying to convey here is that I am creating a QueueItem field and its value of type string and object, and I'm indicating or telling it that get the data or create the field of name with the value let's automate. Now again there is an error, so let's go back and see what is the error. It says it's a public the argument specified for a parameter value of public overload sub add. So we cannot. So what is this basically means is that there is an overload that is happening. I am trying to. So when you deal with creating the object, it's always we will be passing it an array format. Now when we deal with passing the value to a QueueItem, we deal through array, because we are going to pass at a time all our fields, all our values to it. Now here at this moment, if you see, let me do this way. If you see, I have created one more flower bracket and I have closed one more flower bracket. Now the error is gone. So why I did this is because so I am passing an array of information. In that array, the name and let's automate would be my 0th element. Okay. Now let's click on OK. Let's do the right line, and let's see why I'm trying to do the right line is because whatever the field that I have created is getting saved or is getting created or not, to check on that. So what I did, I just right line the name that I have created now. So let's run this. Now it's run. Let's see. Correct. So we got our value, which is let's automate. Now what we'll do is, we just added one item field, right? Let's try adding another field. So how do we add this is that from name to let's automate is 1, that is 0th element. Okay, let me explain in this way. Array, when you open an array, you see that there are multiple items in it. So for the first one is the 0th element. second one would be the first element, and so on and so forth. Now the same concept applies here. From name to let's automate would be our 0th element, and then we will create another field, or the first element, which is ID, with its value, let's say 1, 2, 3. Now here is what I did. So this would be my from name to let's automate is 0, and from ID to 1, 2, 3 would be my first element of array. Now let's save this. Let's rewrite our right line so that we understand it better. So name would be this, and let's copy entire thing and paste it here. Let's open this. Let's make it as ID, and let's make it as ID. Let's save this. Okay, now let's run our code and see what is happening. Does the ID get created or not? Let's see. Looks like our code is run. Yes, whatever that we have created, we can see them, name as well as ID. Now this too covers, till now we covered the explanation on how you can initialize your queue item, how you can assign a value, and how you can create your field. Now let's do one more thing, that is how to update your field value. Now here till now what I was doing is that transaction item dot specific, right? Now here I will mention that ID. Okay, let's deal with ID itself. So at present ID value is 1, 2, 3, right? Now let's remove everything and change it into 111. So now let's rename this into before update. And then next we'll take the same, copy these things and paste it here. Sorry about that. Let's do Control Z, Control C, Control V. Now let's open this. Let's make it as after update. Right. So let's run our code and see what is happening. Looks like our code ran. Let's see the output panel. Name, let's automate. That is correct. Before the update, ID was 1, 2, 3. After the update, ID turned into 111. So this is how you deal with the queue item. First and foremost and very important step when you deal with queue item, if it is not there through orchestrator, if you are not extracting through orchestrator, is the initialization part. So, and initialization is done with this format, in this format. Next would be, if your transaction item again is not from orchestrator, then you need to create your field. And how do we do that is based on this way. Okay, and last but not least is how you can update your queue item field is this way, and this can be applied to the queue item which is coming from the orchestrator, as well as the queue item which you are creating through Studio and it's not there in your orchestrator. Okay, so this covers today's session. I hope it helped you. Even at 1%, I'll be more happy to it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support that you are giving. It means a lot. So let's meet again in few days with another one more interesting topic I have. And until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Okay, so yeah, bye bye, have a great day.